Have you ever felt like your emotions control you? Or wondered why you care so deeply, even when it hurts? Here's a shocking truth: what you see as emotional weakness might actually be your hidden strength. Because in today's world, sensitivity is often misunderstood. People think being emotional means being fragile. But that's a lie. And no zodiac sign proves this more than Cancer. Cancers are often called the crybabies of the zodiac. But behind their tears lies something far more powerful. They are not just emotional, they are emotional strategists. Masters of intuition. Silent protectors. And healers of invisible wounds. In this video, we're going to uncover the secret weapons of Cancer. The emotional skills hidden deep inside their hearts, skills that can help anyone, yes, even you, live a stronger, more balanced life. What you're about to learn isn't just astrology. It's psychology. Real human behavior. The patterns that shape how we love, protect, and heal. And trust me, some of these insights will surprise you. So, are you ready to see emotions in a completely new way? If you're curious, hit subscribe now. Click like if you've ever felt misunderstood. And share this video with someone who needs to hear that their heart is their greatest strength. Let's dive in. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to carry memories not just in their minds, but in their hearts? For Cancer, memories aren't just stories from the past. They're emotional maps guiding every choice, every reaction. Imagine this: a Cancer walks into a room and instantly remembers how they felt the last time they were there. If that memory held warmth, they'll open up. If it held pain, they'll instinctively pull back. It's not logic making the decision. It's emotion stored like whispers deep inside them. This emotional memory becomes a silent teacher. Over years, Cancers build an internal library of experiences, lessons hidden within feelings. It's why they seem cautious at times. Why they take their time before trusting. Every emotional scar and every joyful moment becomes part of their decision-making. And this isn't just a Cancer trait. In life, we all carry emotional memories. Think about it. Haven't you ever avoided someone, not because of what they said, but because of how they once made you feel? Or walked back to a place that felt like home, just because your heart remembered the comfort? But here's where Cancer shows us something powerful. They don't run from these emotional maps. They use them. Instead of ignoring past wounds, they let those memories guide them away from danger and towards warmth. It's a reminder to all of us: your emotional history isn't a weakness. It's wisdom. The next time you hesitate before trusting someone, maybe listen to that feeling. It's your heart remembering what your mind has forgotten. Yet, Cancer doesn't always realize how much their moods influence their lives. You see, while many people believe we make decisions based on logic, Cancer teaches a deeper truth. Much of what we choose is shaped by how we feel in the moment. Think about a day when you woke up feeling heavy. Everything seemed harder, right? That's not just a mood. That's a lens. And Cancer lives through this lens every day. Their emotions shift like ocean tides. When they feel safe and loved, they're generous, nurturing, open-hearted. But when sadness or fear creeps in, walls go up. Decisions change. People fade away. Not because Cancer stops caring, but because the tide has turned. It's easy to misunderstand this as being fickle. But in truth, Cancer is responding to internal weather. They sense it, even when they can't explain it. And if you're a Cancer, you know this inner pull well. One moment, you're ready to give the world your heart. The next, you need silence, space, a retreat back into yourself. There's nothing wrong with this. Emotions are not obstacles to your path. They're the path itself. Cancer shows us that honoring your moods doesn't mean being ruled by them. It means recognizing that your feelings carry messages. If today you feel like protecting your heart, maybe it's because it needs healing. if tomorrow you feel open and loving, perhaps that's your heart telling you it's safe to give again. And where does Cancer go when the world feels too loud? They go home. But not just to a place with walls and windows. To their sanctuary. Their emotional anchor. For Cancer, home isn't just where they live, it's where their soul feels safe. Think of that one place where you can breathe without pretending. Where your heart rests. For Cancer, creating this space is not optional. It's survival. They decorate not to impress, but to heal. Every picture frame, every soft pillow, every quiet corner, it's all medicine. When life overwhelms, they retreat to their sanctuary. Not to escape life, but to remember who they are. And we all need that. In a world that demands constant movement, Cancer reminds us that rest is powerful. That having a space to return to, a place where your emotions aren't judged but understood, can save your soul. Maybe for you, it's not a house. Maybe it's a person, a song, a late-night drive. Whatever it is, protect it. Let it be your emotional anchor, like Cancer guards their sanctuary. But why does Cancer need this sanctuary so much? It's because their inner world is vast. Complex. A quiet ocean of thoughts and feelings most people never see. On the outside, they may seem calm. But inside? Stories swirl. Worries drift. Dreams float. Cancer lives in their mind as much as their heart. They overthink, not to create problems, but to understand them. To make sense of why they feel what they feel. If you've ever spent hours replaying a conversation, imagining what you should have said, wondering why someone hurt you, then you've walked through Cancer's mind. Their inner world is both a refuge and a maze. It's where they seek answers, but sometimes get lost in the process. And yet, this inner complexity isn't a flaw. It's their strength. While others rush to react, Cancer pauses to reflect. While others ignore their feelings, Cancer listens. They process. They dive deep. And from this emotional depth, wisdom grows. Real wisdom. The kind that knows when to speak, and when to simply hold someone in silence. So, what can we learn from Cancer's inner world? That it's okay to feel deeply. That overthinking isn't always a curse. Sometimes, it's the soul's way of searching for healing. And that having a rich inner world doesn't isolate you. It connects you. Because understanding your own emotions is the first step to understanding others. In the end, Cancer's emotional memory, mood-driven choices, attachment to home, and complex inner world are not random traits. They're pieces of a bigger lesson. That strength isn't about controlling emotions. It's about understanding them. And perhaps, the more we understand ourselves, the less we fear the depth of others. Have you ever met someone who seems to feel what you're feeling, even when you haven't said a word? That's not magic. It's emotional mirroring. And Cancer does this without even trying. When you're sad, they sense it. When you're happy, they glow with you. It's like their emotional world is tuned to your frequency. You might think they're just good listeners. But it's more than that. They reflect your emotions back to you, like a mirror made of empathy. But why does this matter? Because people crave connection. We don't always need solutions. Sometimes, we just need to feel seen. Understood. Cancers do that. And if you're a Cancer, maybe you've wondered why people tell you their secrets. Why strangers open up to you. It's because your heart tells them. I feel you. Yet, this gift comes with a hidden cost. When you mirror others too often, you risk forgetting your own emotions. You carry feelings that don't belong to you. That's why Cancer needs time alone, to separate their own heart from the emotions they've absorbed from the world. If you relate to this, here's a simple reminder: it's okay to care. But remember to ask yourself, is this my feeling? Or someone else's? Protect your emotional mirror, so it doesn't shatter. And then, there's another layer of Cancer's gift, something less visible but just as powerful. Energetic sensitivity. You've felt it before. Walking into a room and sensing tension. Meeting someone and feeling drained after. For Cancer, this happens every day. They pick up energies others ignore. It's like their emotional antenna never switches off. This can be overwhelming. Think about how heavy it feels to carry your own emotions. Now imagine carrying everyone else's too. That's Cancer's daily life. But instead of seeing this as a burden, let's see the lesson. Sensitivity to energy is not weakness. It's awareness. If you're someone who absorbs energy easily, learn to use it. Notice who drains you. Notice who lifts you. Let your sensitivity guide your choices. Your heart is giving you information long before your mind can explain it. Trust it. But Cancers aren't just passive receivers of emotion. They're also quiet analysts. Emotional pattern recognition is their hidden superpower. Maybe you've heard a Cancer say, "Something feels wrong with that person," even when nothing seems obvious. Weeks later, their instinct proves right. Why? Because they've silently picked up on emotional patterns, small signs that others miss. A change in tone. A forced smile. A pause too long before speaking. They connect these invisible dots, not with logic, but with feeling. This isn't just about others. Cancers notice patterns in themselves too. If they feel anxious every time they're around a certain person, they don't ignore it. They store that data. Emotional data. Over time, this helps them avoid toxic people, unhealthy jobs, and relationships that drain them. Now, imagine applying this in your own life. Start paying attention to how people make you feel, not just once, but repeatedly. Trust your patterns. If every time you meet someone, you feel small, that's not random. That's your energy speaking to you. Learn from Cancer, patterns don't lie. But perhaps the most beautiful and exhausting gift Cancer holds is mood synchronization in relationships. Have you ever noticed how being with a sad person can make you sad too? That's mood contagion. Cancer lives inside this dynamic. They often adjust their own emotional state to match the people they love. If their partner is anxious, they absorb that anxiety. If their friend is joyful, they mirror that happiness. This sounds empathetic. But over time, it can be draining. Cancer often loses their emotional center because they're so focused on harmonizing with others. Like a musician tuning to someone else's instrument, forgetting their own melody. If you're a Cancer, or if you love one, this is important to remember: it's okay to care without becoming. You can support someone sad without becoming sad yourself. You can offer love without losing yourself in someone else's storm. What's the takeaway here? Emotional connection doesn't mean emotional surrender. You don't have to carry everyone else's feelings to love them. Cancers remind us that boundaries aren't walls. They're life jackets. You can only save others if you remember to swim. As we explore deeper, Cancer's emotional world reveals layer after layer of both wisdom and vulnerability. We've uncovered how they mirror emotions, absorb energy, recognize patterns, and synchronize moods. But the question lingers: at what cost? What happens when all this emotional weight becomes too heavy? When carrying the world's feelings leaves Cancer lost in their own? That's where the next truths emerge. And they may surprise you. Because in the next part of this video, we'll uncover 3 of Cancer's most controversial and misunderstood secrets. The final pieces that reveal why their sensitivity is both their greatest power and their greatest risk. Stay with me. The heart of Cancer's mystery is about to unfold. Have you ever felt the need to protect your heart without knowing why? That moment when you pull back from someone. Not out of anger, but out of instinct. For Cancer, this happens all the time. It's what we call defensive vulnerability. To the outside world, Cancer may seem distant or closed off at times. But the truth is, they're protecting something precious, their emotional core. They've learned, often through pain, that not everyone deserves access to their heart. Their walls aren't meant to reject others. They're built to guard their inner peace. And here's the thing, we all do this, in our own ways. Maybe you've become colder after heartbreak. Maybe you've avoided closeness because being hurt once was enough. Cancer teaches us that this isn't weakness. It's wisdom in disguise. Protecting your heart isn't about isolation. It's about healing. It's about giving yourself permission to say, not everyone earns my trust. And that's okay. But protecting your heart doesn't mean closing it forever. Cancer knows this too. That's where emotional boundaries come in. You see, Cancer feels everything deeply. But not everyone gets to see that depth. They choose carefully. Who enters? Who stays? And who gets left outside? These emotional boundaries are vital. Without them, Cancer would drown in other people's feelings. Imagine a friend who only calls when they're sad, draining your energy every time. Or a partner who never respects your need for quiet. Without boundaries, your emotional world becomes a battlefield. Cancer senses this. So, they build invisible fences around their soul, not to block love, but to protect it. And here's the lesson for all of us. Setting boundaries doesn't make you cold. It makes you healthy. Saying I need space is not rejection. It's self-care. Cancer's quiet strength is in knowing when to open their heart, and when to close the door. Yet, behind all this strength lies something softer. Something most people never see. A hidden fear. Fear of emotional abandonment. Cancer's loyalty runs so deep that the idea of being left behind terrifies them. They may not show it. But every goodbye feels like a little heartbreak. This fear drives much of their behavior. They protect, they nurture, they give, because deep inside, they long for reassurance that they'll never be left alone. If you're a Cancer, maybe you've stayed in relationships longer than you should have. Maybe you've given too much, hoping someone would stay. Maybe you've sacrificed your own needs to avoid hearing the words, "I'm leaving." This fear isn't weakness. It's the scar tissue of your emotional history. But here's the truth you need to remember: love given from fear is never balanced. You deserve relationships where presence isn't something you have to earn. You deserve people who choose to stay, without you having to beg them. For everyone listening, ask yourself, are you loving from fear, or from trust? Cancer's story reminds us to check our motives. To love bravely, but never out of desperation. Now, after all the giving, after all the emotional effort, Cancer often finds themselves drained. When that happens, they do something many people misunderstand. They withdraw. They pull back into themselves, sometimes without explanation. To outsiders, it may seem cold, distant, even rude. But this withdrawal isn't rejection. It's survival. Emotional withdrawal is Cancer's way of renewing their energy. Think of it like emotional hibernation. When the world becomes too heavy, they retreat, not to punish others, but to heal themselves. In those quiet moments, Cancer processes their pain. They untangle their thoughts. They rebuild their emotional strength. And then, slowly, they return. If you love a Cancer, give them that space without fear. Their silence isn't absence. It's repair. And if you are a Cancer, let yourself withdraw without guilt. Solitude isn't failure. It's medicine for your soul. There's a powerful lesson in this for everyone. In a world that glorifies constant connection, silence is often judged harshly. But emotional withdrawal, when done with care, isn't running away. It's choosing yourself. We've now uncovered some of Cancer's most guarded truths. Their defensive vulnerability. Their protective boundaries. Their hidden fear of abandonment. And their healing withdrawal. each one a piece of their emotional survival strategy. A way to protect their sensitive heart in a world that doesn't always understand. But the journey isn't over yet. In fact, what comes next may surprise you. Because the final 3 insights reveal sides of Cancer few people talk about. Sides that challenge what you think you know about this sign. The most powerful, and perhaps the most misunderstood, secrets of Cancer's emotional strength are waiting just ahead. Stay with me. You won't want to miss what's coming. Have you ever met someone who cares about you so genuinely that it almost feels unreal? Someone who remembers the smallest details of your life. Not because they have to, but because they truly care. That's Cancer's heart in action. Their nurturing instinct isn't a strategy. It's who they are. When Cancer asks, "How are you?" they really mean it. They're not waiting for a polite answer. They're waiting for the truth. And they're ready to hold space for you when you share it. But there's something deeper happening here. When Cancer cares for others, they're not just offering support. They're finding purpose. Their identity is built around being needed. Being there. Being the one who quietly holds others together. It's comforting for the people around them, but it's also how Cancer protects themselves from their deepest fear, feeling useless or forgotten. Think about that for a moment. Have you ever overextended yourself, not because you were asked to, but because giving made you feel valuable? That's the paradox of Cancer's caring nature. They give, not just to help others, but to remind themselves that they matter. So, what's the lesson here? It's okay to care. But don't lose yourself in it. Love isn't measured by sacrifice alone. It's okay to care without carrying the world on your back. You are enough, even when you're resting. And then there's Cancer's sensitivity. Most people misunderstand this. They think being sensitive means being weak. But for Cancer, sensitivity is the reason they connect so deeply with others. Their emotions aren't surface level. They feel everything. When you're hurting, they feel it too. When you're joyful, they mirror that happiness with their whole heart. This sensitivity allows them to notice things others miss. The friend who stays quiet in a group conversation. The loved one who's hiding sadness behind a smile. Cancer picks up these invisible signals, often before anyone says a word. But this isn't always easy. Imagine feeling everything, all the time. The weight of your own emotions, plus the weight of everyone else's. That's Cancer's daily reality. Which is why sometimes, they seem distant or moody. It's not that they don't care. It's that they care too much. If you're someone who feels life this deeply, here's something important: sensitivity is not something to fix. It's a strength. It's your body's way of telling you what matters. But you also need protection. You need to choose where you invest your energy. Not every battle deserves your heart. Protect your sensitivity. Let it guide you, not exhaust you. Cancer's next gift might surprise you. Generosity. When Cancer gives, they don't calculate. They don't ask what they'll get in return. Whether it's time, energy, money, or simple acts of kindness, they give from a place of sincerity. Their generosity is silent, subtle, and constant. They remember birthdays. They send messages when no one else does. They show up, even when they're tired. But here's the thing. This generosity isn't just about others. It's part of Cancer's emotional identity. Giving allows them to feel connected. To feel useful. To feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. The risk? Overgiving. Giving so much that they forget to refill their own cup. Maybe you've done this. Maybe you've been there. Giving, 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 until you burn out. Until resentment creeps in. Even when you don't want it to. Cancer teaches a powerful lesson here: giving is beautiful. But it needs balance. Generosity should never become self-sacrifice. Take time to receive as much as you give. Let others care for you too. Now, let's talk about something even deeper. Fidelity. Loyalty that runs like blood through Cancer's veins. Once they commit, they're in. Fully. Emotionally. Spiritually. They'll stand by you through storms, mistakes, and messy human moments. Their loyalty isn't about convenience. It's about principle. About heart. About remembering promises, even when others forget. But this loyalty also comes with a shadow. Cancer sometimes stays too long. Holds on too tight. Forgives when they should have let go. Why? Because breaking loyalty feels like breaking a piece of themselves. If you're a Cancer, you know this well. You've probably told yourself, maybe they'll change. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I can fix it. Here's the truth. Loyalty is sacred. But you can be loyal to yourself too. Walking away from people who harm you doesn't mean betraying them. It means choosing you. It means honoring your worth. Cancer's fidelity reminds us that trust isn't about never leaving. It's about staying true to what's healthy, what's real, what feeds your soul. Sometimes that means standing beside someone. Sometimes that means walking away. Now, as we look back at these 4 gifts, their caring nature, their sensitivity, their endless generosity, and their unwavering fidelity, we start to see the full picture of Cancer's emotional world. A heart that gives endlessly. A soul that connects deeply. A mind that remembers every feeling. But don't be fooled. There are layers left to uncover. Because the final 3 truths, they're not just about connection. They're about survival. Emotional protection. The power of genuine interest. And the tenderness that binds all of Cancer's strength together. What you'll discover in these last insights might change the way you see not just Cancer, but your own heart. Stay with me. The most personal secrets are yet to be revealed. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to protect others emotionally, even before anyone asks for help? That quiet friend who senses when you're overwhelmed. That partner who comforts you without words. That's Cancer's silent strength. Their ability to offer emotional protection. Not the kind you see in movies, but the kind you feel. A safe space. A quiet presence. An unspoken message that says, you're not alone. Cancer knows when people need shelter. Emotional shelter. And they offer it without asking anything in return. They listen, not to fix, but to hold. They stand beside you, not to lead, but to stay. And yet, this gift isn't always understood. People lean on Cancer, but forget how much weight that adds to their shoulders. If you're a Cancer, you know this feeling. You've stayed up late answering messages you didn't have energy for. You've held space for someone's pain, while hiding your own. You've been strong for others, even when you felt empty inside. And here's the reminder you need: you deserve protection too. Being strong for others doesn't mean you can't ask for help. Creating emotional safety isn't just something you give. It's something you're allowed to receive. Cancer teaches all of us this simple truth: protecting someone isn't about solving their problems. It's about standing beside them until they find the strength to walk again. But what makes Cancer's care so real, so lasting, is something even subtler. Something most people miss. Their genuine interest in others. You've felt this before. Someone asks how you are. And you know they actually care. Not out of politeness. Not out of habit. But because they're truly invested in your happiness. That's Cancer. Their curiosity about your heart. Their desire to understand what makes you smile and what makes you ache. This genuine interest builds trust in a world where people often feel unseen. Cancer doesn't pretend to care. They do. And when they ask, "How was your day?" it's because they actually want to know. They're the friend who notices when your voice sounds different. The sibling who senses your mood through a text. The colleague who remembers you said your mother was ill 2 weeks ago and asks if she's better. This kind of connection is rare and powerful. Because when someone is truly interested in your world, you feel safe opening it. Cancer doesn't demand your vulnerability. They earn it. Slowly. Quietly. Patiently. And here's where we all can learn from them. Slow down. Pay attention. Care, not out of obligation, but out of love. Don't ask, "How are you?" unless you're ready to listen. And when you do listen, listen fully. The people around you are carrying stories they're afraid to share. Be the person who makes them feel safe enough to share them. So now, we've reached the heart of Cancer's emotional world. Not just empathy. Not just intuition. But emotional protection and genuine interest. These aren't techniques. They're choices. Ways of loving. Ways of being present. Ways of saying, "You matter." And maybe, that's the most powerful lesson Cancer offers us. To make the people we love feel like they matter. Before we end, let's breathe together for a moment. Let's reflect. Today, you've walked through the emotional depth of Cancer. You've seen their memories become guidance. Their moods shape their choices. You've felt their vulnerability, their strength, their loyalty, and their quiet fears. And through it all, one truth echoes: sensitivity is not weakness. Sensitivity is wisdom wearing the clothes of vulnerability. If you're a Cancer, maybe now, you understand your heart a little more clearly. And if you love someone with Cancer energy, perhaps now, you'll know how to hold their heart more gently. Let me ask you something. Did you see yourself in this video? Maybe in the way you care. The way you protect. The way you carry feelings you can't explain. If you did, I hope you'll subscribe to this channel. Not because you have to, but because your heart feels at home here. If you know someone who needs to hear this message, someone who loves too much, who feels too deeply, who protects others but forgets themselves, share this video with them. You might give them the reminder they didn't know they needed. And trust me, this journey isn't over. We've only just started exploring the emotional secrets written in the stars. In the next videos, we'll dive into other signs, other stories, other truths about human nature that can help you understand yourself and the people you love. So stay close. Stay curious. And most of all, stay kind to your own heart. I'll see you in the next story.